Hamidakipi, Chante Washtenape, Chuzapi, Munia Machiapi. We are Standing Rock and Cheyenne River No DAPL delegation under IN. We are currently here because we're still opposing and fighting Dakota Access Pipeline. And this is our youth delegation. I'm really thankful to be here. We got Annalie Yellowhammer here who is an active member within Standing Rock community. She's a primary caregiver for her nephew right now, who's severe autistic, and it's a whole new learning curve. But her major is business. So she wants to be a business administrator and take over on the Boys and Girls Club of the Grand River area. So I'm excited for her. We got Maya Reynolds here also with Standing Rock Youth Council. She's also the president of Standing Rock Youth Council. And she's a birth worker and end of life worker also. She's actively working with our community and bringing the new life and ending the cycle of life into a whole new generation. We got Morgan Brinks plenty with IEN, who is also a member of the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe that has been fighting Dakota Access Pipelines alongside with Standing Rock since the beginning in 2016. She is also the media fellows, and I'm really happy we're all here. So we got a, a laid back conversation going on. I'm really excited for these. I have specific questions for them. um, we are here because of Dakota Access Pipeline. We are here because it directly impacts our community, and how are we going to continue moving forward, and how does like our role and participation in this. So I'm going to start off with Annalie. Annalie, why is youth activism so important, not only for Indigenous communities and specifically No DAPL?
I feel youth activism is, or I believe youth activism is important because it's important to or stand up for what you believe in, and to spread awareness for that cause. That's why I believe youth activism is important. What was my role? I was one of the runners that had ran to Washington D.C. from Sacred Stone in Cannonball, North Dakota, to deliver a petition to Army Corps of Engineers.
Was it successful?
Yeah, or no, or the message was successful, but yeah, that wasn't the outcome, but yeah.
So I feel like with Dakota Access Pipeline, the youth played an actual key role in the whole movement, did they not?
No, I believe that too. It was a youth movement, youth-led movement led.
So do you think that we would have had the awareness of Dakota Access Pipeline if it wasn't for the youth?
Yeah, I believe the youth played a big role and big part in that.
Thank you, Annalie. Maya, what does Indigenous sovereignty mean to you, uh, especially when it comes to like Dakota Access Pipeline, but directly how it impacts Indigenous life?
Um, so just an overall, Wania shared that I work for a nonprofit called Mini-Wachoni Health Circle for my community, and we're striving to bring back our traditional knowledge of medicines and basically our way of life. And as a birth and end of life support relative in my community, it's really important that we reclaim these ways. Indigenous sovereignty is claiming our own autonomy, and we have the right to our own autonomy. And with that, with our own autonomy, we have the right to give consent. And with DAPL, it's still illegally operating without our consent. And water is just really important. We need clean water. It's necessary for us to live. It's necessary for the mothers back home to grow our babies or grow their babies. Our first home is in our mother's wombs. And we're not only in our mother's wombs, but we're surrounded by water. And that's who we are. We are water. Yeah.
So as a birth worker and a end of life support, how does like what does water actually mean to you?
It's everything. Like I said, it's our first home. We're grown in water. Like, it's in our blood. Our blood is water. It's Mini-Wachoni, water is life.
So Morgan, as someone who's been a part of the Dakota Access Pipeline fight since the one at the beginning, do you want to give us a current status of what's going on with Dakota Access Pipeline right now?
So the current status of Dakota Access Pipeline is that they have received public comments from those that oppose the pipeline, grassroots, community members, the youth, and even those that sit on the tribal council who don't want the pipeline. We are currently looking at the environmental impact statement that's supposed to be coming out towards the end of this year in 2024. But there has been some turnaround because the Cheyenne River were told December and Standing Rock was told September, so we don't know exactly when the environmental impact statement. And one of the majority is that we told them that we want it to be shut down completely, drained of all oil, because if they try to rip the pipe out of the ground right now in the current status, it would disrupt the land around it, meaning that the land will be disrupted. Plants will not grow sufficely. The land will be more disturbed. The natural habitats where flowers and other bugs, insects that currently live there, that's an important part of our cycle. Our cycle will be more disruptive. So, like, other than still fighting in the legal terms within the tribes, between working together with the tribal entities and ourselves as youth, the grassroots, it's a hard process, and we're going into policy work into trying to figure out what more that we can do, what much more that we can persuade the United States representatives.
So the current status right now is Dakota Access Pipeline. We had federal court hearings after federal court hearings, and it has continually ruled in our tribe's favor, in Cheyenne River and Standing Rock Sioux tribe's favor. But we're the only pipeline that had actually won the court case, and it's still illegally flowing right now. It's illegally operating currently right now. And the powers that be is the Biden administration has the power to shut it down. The Army Corps of Engineers has the power to shut it down. Even ETP, Energy Transfer and Partners, has the power to shut it down at any given point in time. But how this impacts us as Indigenous community, as a sovereign nation, is we've been saying since 2016, this is without our consent, you're encroaching on our unceded treaty territory. And we literally put our lives on the line along with our allies. So we were shoulder to shoulder as a community, as one Lakota nation, as one tribal nation, along with allies shoulder to shoulder on the riverbanks of the Missouri River, while militarization, policing, and now we're feeling the repercussions of the backlash of civil lawsuits coming our ways now, because SLAPP suits are designed deliberately to silence people, and it's to hinder. It's another encroachment on us and keeping us silent, considering that Indigenous population will only make up 2% of the world's population. But it's another barrier that we now face in civil lawsuits right now with the SLAPP suits that are occurring around Dakota Access Pipeline. It's another barrier of us being silenced. And it's just really frustrating because we are targeted, as Maya said last night, we're targeted just for being born. And our children, ourselves, are not protected. You know, like Cheyenne River has a really small delegation. We only have one representative right now because the community of Cheyenne River is mourning Colt Brinks Plenty, who was missing for 5 days and then found deceased. And so the community right now is in mourning right now. And so that's why we only have like one Cheyenne River member here. But keeping them, like, that's an example of how we're being targeted and how we're, uh, and why we're here. This is why we came to the United Nations. So, Annalie, how do you feel about like the theme of this year and being invited to the United Nations?
For it being my first time, I think it's really cool that the theme is like youth directly, but I don't, or that's a whole nother topic I'll talk about yesterday with having to wait to speak, but um, I don't know, it's pretty cool. And then for the chair or president, Hindu, to be woman, like I think that's really empowering for me, and it's definitely, I'm grateful to have this opportunity. It's a humbling experience, I think.
Did you ever think you would be surrounded by that many different languages and people and seeing how, like, how our community in Standing Rock and Cheyenne River, that we're not the only ones fighting for our rights to be heard?
No, I would have never thought I'd be here at the UN and with all these different communities and different indigenous people here fighting for basically their life, a right to live.
So Maya, with being invited to the UN and to talk about sovereignty, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel, I don't know, it's like some big shoes to fill. I kind of didn't feel, I don't know, felt unworthy, I guess, but since giving this opportunity, it shows that I am worthy. And it's just such a amazing opportunity. I'm so honored to be here and be surrounded by all these Indigenous women that are so smart and knowledgeable. It's beautiful to share this place or share space with so many different cultures, but we're all the same in many aspects.
So Morgan, how was it to see fellow fossil fuel fighters and from other Indigenous communities at United Nations?
First of all, I thought my mother would be sitting here. Like, as many of you know, is that my mother passed away in 2022. She was a national pipelines organizer for IAN. She was a big voice, always wore the beret, and you can always tell when she enters in the room, filled with energy, and you can just hear her. Yeah. And so when I was talking to other reporters and stuff, giving this chance to be here at the United Nations as a youth and filling in big, again, like big shoes, because like literally I thought that I would be pushing my mother like in her wheelchair around, getting her to places, but here I am. I wore the beret, and it is a little emotional for me, like seeing being a voice and giving my word, and as well with other fellow youth and from other countries, that we're fighting for the exact same thing: our water, our land, our human rights, our treaty rights, if there are treaties in the area. And hearing all the languages and hearing everyone's interventions and basically saying that we have the power and you guys should be afraid of us because we're the next generation, we're the next voice. And hearing about all different fights and everything, it's just like, I feel you, I see you, and I'm with you all the way.
So as leaders, as young leaders, what was one thing that you recommend for anyone that comes after you that's going to be fulfilling this space within just Indigenous communities, not only with like IEN and movement spaces, but like in the United Nations? What's one thing you recommend?
Sorry, can you re-ask her? Yeah. I
What-
was listening, but
What do you recommend to the next one that's coming after you as a youth leader?
just to don't give up, to keep going, and that to never stop. the fight always still goes on.
Sorry, go ahead.
um, if you're given the opportunity, take it. It's really nerve-wracking, and me and Anna, like, our first trip to was here in New York when I was 15 and she was 13. We were really young, just some res kids, but for real though, we're so different. We've come a long way, and yeah, we came here for our first action, and it was really nerve-wracking, but we've grown as leaders. Sometimes getting into this kind of work is overwhelming, but the opportunities and the knowledge you gain is endless, and just know that you're doing it on behalf of our people and that there needs to be a voice, and it's you as the next generation, as youth, to fulfill those shoes and don't be intimidated and know that you are worthy as an Indigenous youth. It's very important we hear your voices, and yeah, we're in good hands. I trust that the ones after us will take good care of us.
My advice would be that you have your ancestors standing behind you all the way. They're with you. No matter how overwhelmed you get, how anxious you are, how scared you are, how angry you are, you have every emotion that you can feel, and it's validated. But your ancestors from all the beginning, and the energy of Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sun, are with you. You have their power, you have their energy, is you have to keep moving forward. Because who else is going to stand up? Who else is going to say no to fossil fuels, no to the graping of our lands, But you have your friends, you have your family. People are going to say rude, mean things throughout your life. Don't take it to heart. Be who you are, because it is you. And you're true to yourself, authentic to yourself. So be who you are. You have everyone around you supporting you, no matter where you are.
So before we get ready to wrap up, is there anything else that you guys would like to say?
Mini-Wachoni, water's life, and be the voice for those who can't speak and speak up for themselves.
Hashtag Mini-Wachoni, hashtag no DAPL, hashtag justice for Cole Blings Penny, hashtag for justice for Kyla Red Bear, and hashtag justice for William Brown Otter.
Mini-Wachoni, water is life. Say no to oil. You got this. Stop fossil fuels. We are the next generation. Be proud.
So we're currently at a standstill. Everyone keeps asking me, is there an ask from Standing Rock community? And currently we're not. We're at a standstill because we're waiting for the NEPA process the Army Corps of Engineers is following. So with that, we ask that wherever you're at in your community, just keep watching, being vigilant on watching the court systems and the court trackers, and watching how far we move. Once we get this verdict, then we'll keep moving forward with our community on opposing it. So that's where we're currently at right now. Thank you.